You've heard of doppelgangers before, right? You know, two people who look strikingly similar to each other, almost as if they were twins. Chances are someone somewhere out there in the world looks just like you, and you don't even know it. The phenomenon is especially crazy when the resemblance is generational and a child grows up to look just like their parents. In this video, we're going to dig through the sands of time a bit and find photos of celebrities and their children when they were the same age. You aren't going to believe some of these. Like seriously, some of these celebs and their kids looked exactly the same. Many of them not only look like their folks, but they followed in their footsteps as well, carrying on the torch, if you will. If these examples don't blow your mind, then honestly, we don't know what will. Facts First presents, Heidi Klum's daughter looks just like her iconic mom. So buckle up, folks, and let's get ready for a wild ride through the old space-time continuum. But before we start doing all the mind-bending side-by-sides, do us a quick favor by tapping the like button and subscribing to our channel. If you tap the bell icon to turn on notifications, you can keep up with all our latest facts-filled content. And seriously, why would you want to miss out on that? Alright, first off we got Amyroloff and Zachary Roloff. You might recognize Amy from the show Little People, Big World. You probably were also as heart-stricken as we were when you found out that the star parents in that show recently filed for divorce. Amy and her ex-husband have a total of 4 kids, 1 girl and 3 boys. Zach looks uncannily like his mom. It's pretty amazing how their facial features match up so precisely. Matt Lauer and Romy Lauer. Matt sure has seen some scandal and controversy in recent years, but before he was cast into the scrutiny of the public lens of infamy, and we knew him just as a friendly news anchor, he had 3 children with his ex-wife, Annette Rogue. His only daughter, Romy, is definitely a daddy's girl, and she says she supports her father no matter what. But just look at the two. It's almost like they used a face swap filter or something. Clint Eastwood and Scott Eastwood, in their 30s. Mr. Eastwood has been a Hollywood heavyweight for decades. Not only is he one of the finest actors to ever grace the screen, he's one heck of a director too. Have you seen Gran Torino? That's all we have to say. His son shares his looks in a startling way. The two have very similar jawlines and eyes. If only they both had the same kind of success in the film industry. There is still hope for Scott, however. He did recently star in The Fate of the Furious as Little Nobody, so that's a start. Goldie Hawn and Kate Hudson in their 20s. Just looking at Goldie Hawn, it comes as no surprise she birthed some seriously gorgeous offspring. She got her start and rose to fame on the CBS show Good Morning World, and from there she kept climbing the ladder in the industry till she found her way to film. Her equally beautiful daughter, Kate Hudson, followed in her mother's footsteps. She rose to prominence as an actress on her own. Oddly enough, Goldie has utterly refused to work with her daughter on any professional projects. Makes you wonder why she took that stance, but oh well. Minnie Riperton and Maya Rudolph, in their 20s. When the world was first introduced to the wonderfully talented musician Minnie Riperton, they were absolutely spellbound. She got her first big break with the single Lovin' You in the 1970s. Unfortunately, her time with her daughter was cut short, as she sadly passed away when little Maya was only 7. Next time you hear that Lovin' You song, make sure you keep your ears peeled to hear her dedicate the song to Maya at the end. Maya went on to go into comedy and film instead of following the pattern laid out by her mother, and if you ask us, she made quite a name for herself. Kirk Douglas and Michael Douglas, in their 30s. If you've ever seen the film It Runs in the Family, you'll see 3 generations of the Douglas family. Career-wise, Kirk really laid the groundwork with Michael. It's hard to believe Kirk acted for 7 decades. Fortunately, Michael took after his father when it came to his looks, talent, and many career successes. Michael has also been acting for over 5 decades now and has proudly passed the torch to his son Cameron, who has continued to uphold the family name. Blythe Danner and Gwyneth Paltrow, in their 30s. Taking in a Tony Award as well as a Primetime Emmy, Blythe Danner made waves when she got her start in showbiz back in the 70s. Maybe her proudest accomplishment, however, was giving birth to Gwyneth Paltrow, one of the finest actresses to ever strut down the Hollywood Walk of Fame. She seemed to take after her mother in so many ways. In addition to being an accomplished actress just like Mama, she also shares her mother's good looks and cares passionately about activist-related causes. The two make a great team. They even match outfits occasionally and stand up for each other when the need arises. That's what we call family love. Meryl Streep and Mamie Gummer, in their 30s. There are certainly some perks of having famous parents. Between the wealth, fame, and beauty, there's so much for a Hollywood kid to be grateful for. But with all those benefits comes a great deal of pressure to live up to as well. Can you imagine how Mamie and her sister Grace must feel being the progeny of a living legend like Meryl Streep? Those are some seriously big shoes to fill. But luckily, Meryl has been nothing but supportive for her daughters, who have now gotten their starts in the film industry as well. Jerry Stiller and Ben Stiller, in their 40s. Looking at the father-son duo side by side is almost spooky. It's clear the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Look specifically at their upper lips, nose, and eyes, and you'll see what we're talking about. Ben has also inherited his father's comedic genius, which has obviously done his career a lot of good over the years. The two have even gotten a chance to work on films with each other over the years, which is always heartwarming to see. Unfortunately, Jerry passed away in May 2020, but we're sure he is proud of his boy and the legacy he left behind. Peggy Lipton and Rashida Jones, in their 20s. This mother-daughter team has dominated television. Peggy went into modeling, which is a path that Rashida never took herself, but she didn't need to either. She is undeniably a talented and accomplished actress, singer, and producer. In terms of looks, it's very clear they have the same facial features and bone structure. Notably, they have the same uplifting smile. Can you see it? Debbie Reynolds and Carrie Fisher, in their 20s. Debbie earned her fame as an actress and singer. She even tried her hand at business before her death in 2016. She may be the most famous for being the mother of Carrie Fisher, aka Princess Leia. It's pretty obvious how successful she became. Their deaths were actually pretty heartbreaking. Carrie passed away on December 28, 2016, and her mother, Debbie, died the very next day. Carrie Fisher and Billy Lord, in their 20s. Since we're already talking about Carrie Fisher, it only seems right to bring up her daughter, Billy Lord, who yet again very clearly inherited her mother's looks as well as her acting prowess. Lord has recently worked on shows like American Horror Story, Cult, and Scream Queens. It's crazy how members of this family have such a distinct resemblance to each other. But then again, as we've already seen, it's not surprising. Tom Hanks and Colin Hanks, in their 20s. Can you even tell the two apart? No, seriously, if we showed you a picture of Colin and you had to guess who it was, wouldn't you say it was his dad? We really don't even have to introduce Tom. He's the highest paid actor in film history, and he's earned every last penny of his net worth by being one of the finest actors to ever pick up a script. His son, on the other hand, has obviously inherited both his father's looks, but also a modicum of his talent. Time will tell if he'll follow in his father's footsteps and find the same kind of success in the film industry. He definitely has gotten off to a good start so far. Mel Gibson and Milo Gibson, 27. You more than likely associate Mel Gibson with action films like Lethal Weapon, Braveheart, and Mad Max. Have you ever seen his son, though? Milo has the exact same eyes and nose of his father, and he's gotten his feet in the water doing the whole acting thing as well. He's known for roles in films like All the Devil's Men, Gangsterland, Breaking and Exiting, and Hacksaw Ridge. Martin Sheen and Charlie Sheen, in their 20s. Martin Sheen was the child of two very loving and supportive immigrant parents. He worked his tail off to become an esteemed actor and activist so he could give his kids a bright future. Charlie, his eldest son, definitely took after his father when it came to following his career choice as an actor, and basically being a carbon copy of him in the looks department. But that's where the comparisons end. Charlie, unlike his father, couldn't care less about philanthropy and has lived a life rife with scandal and controversy. But if you want to know what Charlie is going to look like when he gets older, just look at his father today. It's rather striking, don't you think? Okay, we could go on all day comparing all these familial doppelgangers, but alas, our time has run out. Now it's that super special time to hear from you, our lovely audience. Who do you think looks more like their parent, Colin Hanks and his dad, or Leni Briatore and her mother, Heidi Klum? Leni's only 14, but she could probably pass as her mother's mini-me. She too comes from great genes, being the child of one of the world's hottest supermodels. Anyway, let us know what you think in the comments section, and before you head out, make sure you remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel.